Hello friends, welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Whitley, and today we are going to go over all of the books that I read in June. It's a bit late, to be honest. It is July 11th as I'm filming this, so yeah, this is coming out pretty late, but I still wanted to talk about all of the books that I read in June. If you're new to how my wrap-ups are structured, we are going to go over some stats. I will go over the books that I have featured in vlogs very briefly, and then we'll talk about all of the other books that I haven't got to talk about yet. June was such a great reading month. I participated in 2 month-long competitive-based readathons, so it was a lot, but I had so much fun. I participated in the Terror Readathon and the Amazing Readathon. I had such a fun time in both of them, and those readathons obviously kind of pushed me to read a little bit more, which is one of the reasons that last month was such a great reading month. But before we get into the books, let's go over some stats. I will put them up on screen here for your perusal. I read 9 books, but I did DNF 2. Altogether, I read 3,152 pages, and guys, I had my highest monthly average rating that I've had so far this year. My average rating last month was a 4. I definitely think that is contributed to me not finishing the books that I was not enjoying. You can definitely tell that June was Pride Month looking at my diversity pie. Most of the books I read, I did own, so love that I knocked quite a few off of my physical TBR. Alas, most of the books that I read were standalones, so going into the next couple months, I will try to get back on track with my goal of trying to read more series, but other than that, I'm pretty satisfied with the stats for last month. But let's get into the books, shall we? I did, again, DNF 2 books last month, the first of which was A Fire and Stars by Audrey Colthurst. I just could not get into this one. I did not care about the characters. I didn't care about the story. Oh, I still have it marked where I left off. I got 86 pages into this and called it quits. And it was so unfortunate because this sounded so good. It's about this girl who was promised to be married to the prince of the neighboring kingdom, a kingdom where magic has been outlawed, and turns out she has some magical abilities. But once she gets to the neighboring kingdom to meet her husband, she actually starts falling for the prince's sister. But again, I just could not get into it. I did not care. So I put it down, and I will not be picking it back up. The other book I DNF'd was A Stark View by Alexis Patton, another such anticipated book. This is a dystopian romance between a prisoner and a prison guard. I did manage to get about 50% into this one, but I just couldn't anymore. I just found the story to be so unbelievable. Like, there's no shot that a prison guard would do these things for a prisoner. Like, I don't care how pretty you think she is. And I honestly didn't even see like why he was putting in so much effort or why he was making the exceptions that he was making for her. Like, there was really nothing special about her to make him go so above and beyond to kind of help her out. I don't know. I couldn't get behind it. So I DNF'd the book, and unfortunately, I bought both of those audiobooks when they were on sale on Audible, and I'm not even going to start the second one because I couldn't even get through the first one. Also, I apologize if you can hear my husband. He's in the other room playing video games. So on to the books that I actually finished. The first ones we'll talk about are the books that were featured in a vlog. I did a vlog last month of books that I thought were going to make me cry. If you haven't checked that out, I will link it above. I read 3 books for that vlog. I read Sunrise on the Reaping, Atmosphere, and The Song of Achilles. Did any of these actually make me cry? You'll have to watch the vlog to find out. First, Sunrise on the Reaping. This is a Hunger Games prequel following Haymitch. He is 16 years old, and we follow him in the 50th annual Hunger Games. This was nostalgic. I love the Hunger Games politics. I loved all of the plotting and the planning. I loved the rebellion that is so iconic with this series, and this was absolutely heart-wrenching. 4 stars. Next is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is a literary historical romance following Joan. She is applying to be one of the first women in space in the 1980s, and we follow her love story with one of her fellow female astronaut candidates. This was such a beautiful story. I loved the self-discovery. The characters had so much passion, and there was also some family drama that I really enjoyed. Not only was the ending like devastating, but it was also just heartbreaking to see these 2 women who just wanted nothing more than to be themselves, like have to hide who they were because it does take place in the 80s. So not only are like females just now starting to get their foot in the door at NASA, like God forbid they be lesbians as well. So good. 4 stars. The last book that I read for that vlog was The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is a Greek retelling following Achilles, the greatest warrior of his time, and Patroclus, who is an exiled prince. We follow these boys as they grow up together, they train together, and eventually go off to war together and experience their love story. The writing was incredible. The characters were so dynamic and interesting. It did kind of slog during the middle, but overall, an incredible story. This was so good and absolutely devastating. 4.5 stars. And now we get to talk about all of the books that I have not spoken to you about yet. I will order these from my least favorite to my most favorite. The first being Goddess of Filth by V. Castro. I did do a little read in one sitting short with this. I'll link it if you'd like to watch it as well. But this is an absolute perfect summer ween read. One hot summer night, 5 friends straight out of high school decide that they want to play witches and they want to hold a seance. But the fun and games turn into a little bit of terror when one of their friends goes absolutely Reagan from The Exorcist, goes crazy. The usual shy and quiet Fernanda takes a turn for the promiscuous and unhinged. Her friends are all trying to figure out what got into her, literally, and how to help her, but the local priest gets involved and he thinks that she's possessed by a demon. I mean, understandably, from the way she's acting. But our main girl, Lourdes, I think. She thinks her friend may be harboring something even more powerful and ancient. I wanted to like this a lot more than I ended up liking it. It was good, don't get me wrong, but I had such high hopes for this. I usually absolutely eat up a possession story, but I don't know. I mean, there was a lot to like about it. I loved the look into and all of the references to Mexican culture. I loved that the possession ended up being a lot deeper than a normal demonic possession usually is. It was a quick, fast-paced read that explored a lot of themes of feminine rage, feminism, self-acceptance, revenge, and sexuality. Sometimes maybe a little heavy-handed there at that last one. We got some great quotes, but I feel like the actual plot and the characterizations just felt shallow to me. I understand that it is a short story, so we're not going to get all of that character building, but I just feel like it was trying to do so much in such little time that not a single aspect got the attention that it deserved. I still liked it, and I would recommend it if it sounds like something that you would be interested in. It's a feminist possession story with a strangely hopeful ending and some really creepy moments, but the plot and the characters were just surface level, in my opinion. This did not hit as hard as I was hoping it would. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. Next we have The Library at Hellebore by Cassandra Call. This is a dark academia horror set at an academy for powerful but incredibly dangerous individuals. Some come willingly, but our main character, Alessa, was actually kidnapped and forced to enroll. And on graduation day, when her torment is almost over, the faculty decide to go on a murderous, ravenous rampage. Alessa and a few of her classmates manage to escape the initial carnage and lock themselves in the library, but the faculty are right outside, and it turns out that the library isn't as safe as they thought it might be. Every corner of Hellebore is a danger, and we get to see that and more of the characters explored with the kind of back and forth narration of the present and the past of Alessa. It jumps back and forth between her getting to the school and kind of what led up to graduation, and then them presently in the library. I'm not sure if it messed with the pacing at all, having it being told that way, but I did appreciate how the past really did a great job of expanding on our characters. It really shed light on their personalities and their traumas, but I think it may have helped the pacing a little bit if it was told in more of a linear fashion. This was also incredibly graphic and gory, chock full of body horror, which is always a good time. I loved the ongoing theme of what it is to be a monster, of just monstrousness in general. But I was kind of torn the entire time between really enjoying Cassandra Call's, trademark, poetic, extravagant writing, and on the other hand, I was also kind of feeling like this is just really overwritten. There were definitely things in this that didn't quite make sense, and I feel like the plot was a little mishmashed at points. It kind of felt like there were separate short stories just kind of thrown together. There was a lot of lore and world building in, what I would consider a pretty short book, and I did like what we got, but with this being so short, I think that might have taken away from the actual like plot and characters. There were some really solid ideas in here that I absolutely loved that I would have loved to see kind of more expanded on. The ending did feel a little anticlimactic and kind of left me like, really? Like what? But overall, I enjoyed my time. I loved the horrific, disgusting scenes that we got in here. Some really great, imaginative, unique ideas. I landed around a 3.5 star. Next, we have Walking Practice by Dolki Min. This was such a strange horror sci-fi novella. We're following an alien who has been stranded on Earth and is trying to survive. They quickly discovered that the most nutritious and delicious food on Earth and the most sustaining to their body is humans. This alien can morph into different skins and different genders. So the way that this alien decides to survive and thrive is to go on dating apps, morph themselves into the selected target's preferred skin. And when they eventually meet up to hook up, they hunt and eat in a very strange way. God, this is such a weird little novella. But this alien not only starts to kind of crave more from humans than just their sustenance, they are looking for acceptance and connection like we all are, but they also start to kind of question their existence and have a bit of a moral dilemma when one of their kills don't quite go as planned. I really liked the discussions of social structure and gender and how you do not have to be an alien to feel alienated in this world. This is a wild story, but it illustrates the experiences of a gay or gender fluid or trans person's perspective, or just people who receive prejudices in general, which I really enjoyed. It had some solid critique and poignancy while also being chock full of gore and body horror. It is told in kind of a quirky way, like it is being told to us, the reader, from the alien, and there's some playful formatting. There's also some really cool illustrations in this that kind of show different forms that the alien can take, which I really enjoyed. It was so cool. I always love a book with some illustrations in it. It just adds so much. But I will say everything in this book is so over the top, but I had a fun time with it. I gave it 3.75 to 4 stars. In my tier ranking, I think I would put Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid next, followed by Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. This was such a cute but sad romance book. We follow a veterinarian named Xavier who is referenced as the physical embodiment of a real life Rhysand from Akatar. I swear to you, if I had to hear a Rhysand reference, and I love Rhysand, I love A Court of Thorns and Roses, but if I had to hear one more mention of Rhysand in this book, I was over it. Anyway, we follow Xavier and Samantha. Samantha has just had the cat selection program choose her, so she goes to the vet to get the little kitten checked out, and this is where she meets Xavier. He was having a bit of a bad day, so their first meeting doesn't go great, but the attraction is instant. They end up going on a date, an incredible, perfect, mind-altering, life-changing date. It does last a lot longer than they initially thought it would, but it was so much fun. Their first date, I loved it. But it turns out Samantha is actually moving. She's leaving to move back home to help her family take care of her mother, who is really sick and is struggling with dementia. They part ways and Samantha tells Xavier to, just forget about her, move on. And they both attempt to do that, but neither can forget the incredible night that they spent together and the sizzling connection that they had. This is really a love story of an absolutely incredible couple, the perfect couple, but the timing is just so bad. The fact that every single hurdle and obstacle that these two had in their relationship had nothing to do with their chemistry or their compatibility. It all just came down to people that were in crappy situations and circumstances. I don't know. I really liked it. I felt it was really refreshing to have that kind of conflict. I also really enjoyed the complex familial dynamics that we get both with Samantha's family, her family situation, and her mom being sick is so heartbreaking, like my worst nightmare. But Xavier also had a really troubled relationship with his family that I really enjoyed exploring. I am always just so obsessed with Abby Jimenez's characters. They feel so real and have so much depth. I will say this has been my least favorite Abby Jimenez, although I still really enjoyed it. So cute and romantic and heartfelt and funny. I just wasn't the hugest fan of all of the TikTok, brain rot, pop culture references and lingo. It was a bit much for me. Again, my little rant, I swear to you, Rhysand was mentioned no less than like 8 times. It was a bit much, and I was about over it. I've also seen reviews of this book that say that it's kind of insta-lovey, and I do definitely see where people who say that are coming from. It does seem kind of quick that they are ready to kind of uproot so much of their life for each other so quickly. But I don't know, like when you meet someone and they have such an effect on you, when you so quickly mesh with someone and there's so much like palpable chemistry, I mean, that's hard to forget. It sticks with you. Sometimes it doesn't take a lot of time for someone to make such an impact on you. And when you find someone like that, you know, makes you feel that way, you're not going to want to lose it or let it go. So yes, it was a little insta-lovey, but I in no way found it unbelievable. Such a cute story. Will absolutely be picking up the next in the series, 4 stars. And then next in the tier list, it would go Sunrise on the Reaping, followed by The Song of Achilles. And we are down to my 2 favorite books of the month. In the penultimate spot, this was such a hard decision, but I'm gonna go with Starshipped by Cat Sebastian. This book was kind of a perfect book for me. Granted, it wasn't, obviously, because it is in the penultimate spot, but it had like so many of the ingredients that I absolutely eat up in a romance. This is a male actor, dislike to lovers, grumpy sunshine, golden retriever, black cat romance between these 2 guys who are actors. They've been on this sci-fi show together. It's super popular. Everybody like ships them together. Well, ships their like characters together. I'm sure them too, but they've been on this super popular sci-fi show for 7 years together, and they can't seem to stand each other for some reason. They just seem to get on each other's nerves. Charlie is absolutely a golden retriever, super outgoing. Everybody loves him. Meanwhile, Simon is the, you know, grumpy black cat. He's shy, kind of standoffish. Everybody tries to be friends with him, but he's just kind of like, nah, I don't need friends. But you soon find out kind of like where that tough exterior comes from, and it's so cute. It's so relatable. But Simon seems to be totally fine with how things are right now, but Simon's contract is actually getting ready to like be done with this show, and he's ready to move on to some other projects. But with Charlie and Simon's discourse being kind of well known, Simon's nervous that people are going to think that he's hard to work with and he's going to have trouble finding future job prospects. There was also an article that recently released that kind of put both of them in not such a great light. So to kind of do some damage control and to hopefully help show people that, you know, Simon's not hard to deal with or work with, they decide to put on a public friendship. But Charlie has a bit of a family emergency that pops up. So when he has to go back home, Simon agrees to tag along with him. And the more time that these 2 spend together, obviously, the more they realize that they may not hate each other. They may actually even like each other. I'm not a super like heavy annotator, but I mean, there's quite a few tabs in this. This was so damn good. Again, it wasn't perfect. This is marketed as a little bit of a slow burn, and I do not agree with that. Granted, in the grand scheme of them working together for 7 years and this relationship kind of being 7 years in the making, it is a slow burn in that aspect. But for us, the reader, you know, it doesn't take long. Don't get me wrong. We do get like some good tension, some good like will they, won't they, teasing banter, which I absolutely loved. Their banter was incredible. And the way that these 2 like supposedly hated each other, but working together for so long, like they knew so much about each other, and they were just doing these like little things because they knew that it would help the other person. It was just so cute. Simon struggles throughout this entire book, not only with some like physical health issues. He does deal with migraines on a normal basis, but he also has anxiety and OCD. And I thought that those were handled really well. I mean, I can only personally talk about the anxiety representation. I can't relate to the OCD, but some of the ways that Simon thinks, especially about like how he is perceived by other people and like his relationship with other people and how he sees himself was so relatable. And the fact that Charlie was just so accommodating to Simon's needs, it was the sweetest thing. And the steam was so good. I was absolutely kicking my feet. I loved learning about both of these men's like internal struggles and past traumas, and really seeing them like let down their walls towards each other. These two were just so freaking adorable. I couldn't take it. I couldn't handle it. They were so obviously obsessed with each other. Like even from the beginning, it was obvious. They just like had to get out of their own ways. And God, when they did, incredible. Not only were our two main characters phenomenal, but the whole cast of characters was so great, honestly. This had me giggling. This had me kicking my feet. This was so authentic. And I also loved that there was definitely conflict, but it was kind of like throughout them having to overcome their insecurities. There wasn't like this huge like third act conflict per se. And I really enjoyed that. This did feel a bit like fan fiction, but in the best way. It was light plot, kind of slice of life, but it was incredible. Highly recommend. 4.5 stars. And lastly, my favorite book of the month was Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. I finally did it. I had to see what all the hype was about, and I am so happy I did. I'm sure if you've been on booktube for any amount of time, you know what this book is about, but just in case you don't, this follows a guy named Carl and his girlfriend's cat. One night, suddenly, out of nowhere, every single structure on Earth collapses. More like disintegrates. So anyone that was under any kind of roof, be that like a car, a canopy, like anything that had a roof, gone. If you were under a roof, dead. And the survivors were left with a choice. They could take their chances on the abandoned, desolate surface, or they could go down into the dungeon. A dungeon full of monsters with fantastical video game mechanics. The dungeon dwellers have to survive while descending further and further into the dungeon, all while being televised on the universe's most popular reality television show. This was such a fun time. If I could only describe this to you in one word, it would be fun. Don't get me wrong, there are some like more serious, darker, deeper like tones and themes throughout this. There's murder, there's capitalism, there's slavery, but the overall like tone of this feels so unserious. It just feels like such a fun, goofy, silly time. The jokes in this book are admittedly kind of immature and a little like dude bro-y, but I mean, it had me giggling, so I can't complain about it. I can absolutely see why this has gotten so much hype. Like, it is so good, such a fun time. It's so unique and bingeable and fast-paced. I already cannot wait to pick up the second one. It was not perfect. It was not a 5-star, but it was such a low-key, goofy, fun time. I honestly don't understand how like the stakes are so high. Like this is life or death, but the storytelling and the narration and just the tone just feels so silly, goofy and light and fun. I would absolutely recommend, if you're questioning whether to pick it up, please do. It is so good. Again, how many times can I say fun? It's so much fun. I gave this 4.5 stars. And now we will quickly go over some superlatives of the month. You obviously know the best book of the month. It was Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. The best audiobook that I listened to this month, I think, has to go to Walking Practice. They put on an absolute performance, especially with some of the like strange formatting that this book relies on. I think that the narrator did a really great job at portraying that in the audiobook. The least best book, I mean, the two I DNF'd, obviously, but of the ones I finished, I hate saying it because, I mean, it was still good, but I mean, you know from the ranking, it's gotta be Goddess of Filth. The book that I will be recommending most, it's probably gotta be Dungeon Crawler Carl, because it doesn't really matter what genre you read. I think anybody could find enjoyment out of it. So good. The biggest surprise, I think, is gonna have to go to Starship. I've never read a Cat Sebastian before, and granted, I knew that I was going to like this because how could I not with all of the ingredients that just spelled success for me, but this blew me away. It was so good. It surprised me at how much I adored this. The biggest disappointment is going to have to go unfortunately, to the library at Hellebore. Granted, I wasn't really sure what to expect because I've given Cassandra Call both a 5-star and like a 2-star, but my expectations with the synopsis of this one was really high, and I just didn't love it as much as I was hoping, which makes the next answer even more funny, ironic, because the next question is, what is the most beautiful cover that you've read? And I mean, with me getting the stunning Evernight edition off Pango for the library at Hellebore, I can't not give the most beautiful cover award to this book, even though it was a little bit of a letdown. And lastly, my new favorite character. If there were so many good characters this past month, it's so hard to even narrow it down. Half of the characters that I read are new favorites, but I mean, I think I have to go with the admittedly cliche answer, but I mean, it's got to be Princess Donut from Dungeon Crawler Carl. That cat made me laugh so much, like adored, obsessed. And that is it, friends. Another month of reading in the books. A fantastic month. So many bangers. Highest average rating so far this year. I'm proud that I actually DNF'd 2 books because that is something I'm trying to do more. You know, if you're not liking a book, it's okay to put it down. You don't have to finish it. Trying to get that through my sick head. Please let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. Let me know what your favorite book you read in June was. Or if you just want to let me know you were here by leaving me an emoji, leave me a cat or a dog emoji. Quite a few of the books that I read last month have iconic animals. So absolutely leave me some pets in the comments. And while you're down there, don't forget to like the video if you liked it and subscribe if you want to see more from me in the future. I hope you are loving what you are reading lately. Continue to stay safe out there, and I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye, friends.
Fight for your goal, then make me. You didn't think I'd be here waiting up all night, all night. I'm here to tell you something. There ain't another love that is gonna hold you down like mine.